The final 2 rounds in this riveting championship come here to the world-famous Donington Park. This is where Niall McKenzie began the successful defence of his title over 6 months ago. Chris Walker is safe in second, but third-place man Michael Rutter needs a result.
Currently third in the championship title hunt, with Sean Emmett and John Reynolds 29 points behind you. How does that make you feel for today?
I wish there was like, 39 points behind, to be honest, but I'm just going to go out there and just do what I do normally, just try and get the best result I can. If I finish in the first, 8 anyway, I should be able to get it. So, hopefully it'll end up like that.
One man who could steal that third spot from Rutter is former World Superbike star John Reynolds on the number 33 Ducati. A bad crash at Mallory Park put Reynolds out of 6 races with a shoulder injury, but now he's back with a vengeance.
John, you're 29 points behind Michael Rutter, a possibility of third place in the championship. That's obviously what your goal is.
Oh, no doubt about it, yeah. We've got a lot of work to do. It's going to be tough out there, but there's 50 points up for grabs this afternoon, and we'll just have to see what happens.
Your Mallory Park injuries giving any problems?
Yeah, fair few. It's a long old job, this shoulder, at the moment, but I've had a few painkillers, and that seems to cure the problem, so we'll just see what happens. But, yeah, it's all right. It's hard around here, though.
Also in the frame to beat Rutter is the man who won at Brands Hatch in the wet on a slick rear tyre, Sean Emmett. Like Reynolds, Emmett rides a twin-cylinder Ducati, and, like Reynolds, doesn't always have the best of luck.
Well, I mean, I think it's going to be a bit of a struggle because I had a crash in qualifying yesterday. The rear wheel worked loose and I ran off the track and fell awkwardly, and I've torn some ligaments in my knee, which obviously is making it really hard work. This morning in warm-up I was struggling, so having a lot of treatment beforehand and hopefully having it strapped up. But it's difficult to run up the front when you're fully fit, so and ligament damage is always a bit of a nightmare, so just going to have to see how I go.
Emmett not on the front row, but despite a severe throat infection, Chris Walker is on pole position. Emmett there, look, on the second row. McPherson, Moody has crashed, has broken ribs and won't start. Similarly, number 22, Ian Simpson, is out with a foot injury from qualifying yesterday. And Michael Rutter completes row 3. Dean Thomas beat Jennings, Roger Bennett and David Heel on row 4. 16 laps, 31 miles, just over the full race distance, a packed grid and a packed spectator enclosure here at Donington Park as the lights change and off they go down for the first time at Redgate, with number 2 Chris Walker hitting the front. With him has gone McPherson. McKenzie is in third, a good start from the number 20 Suzuki of Matt Llewellyn. The tail end of the field going round and away they go down Craner Curves. Walker leads. McPherson in second, McKenzie in third, then it's Llewellyn. Terry Reimer on the other Kawasaki as Michael Rutter, number 4, goes underneath him. But Chris Walker fell yesterday. He was another one of the qualifying tumblers, but he's going well, leading the race. This is going to be short, sharp and frantic. 31 miles, absolutely no distance at all at these speeds. They'll be getting round in a little over 1 minute, 11 seconds, I guess. The record here held by John Reynolds way back in 1992 on this short national circuit at Donington Park of a little over 1:12. Alongside me, Steve Parrish, who's ridden here many, many times. Steve, this racing gets better and better.
Yes, well, this is the climax of the season, but Niall McKenzie, number 1, that we can see there in second spot. An unusually fast start from Niall McKenzie. He went through into second at the old hairpin on the first lap, which was a very brave move. There we see Matt Llewellyn, number 20, going underneath Terry Reimer, number 3, on the Kawasaki. So Llewellyn, a front row start from him, and he looks like he's going to continue that performance because he has gone now through into 4th place, just behind number 13, Ian McPherson. John Reynolds there, he didn't get a terribly good start, but I'm sure he'll be pushing hard. He is the man that can take 3rd place away in this championship from Michael Rutter.
The 2 men out front, numbers 2 and 1 respectively. One is Niall McKenzie, he has won the championship. Number 2, Chris Walker, has wrapped up 2nd place. The battle is all about 3rd. In the championship, it is between Michael Rutter on the red and yellow Honda there, John Reynolds right with him, and Sean Emmett. But the lone Suzuki in the race, running now very, very well in 4th place, number 20, Matt Llewellyn. There's Llewellyn. He knows this circuit like the back of his hand. There's John Reynolds making ground fast. He's gone past Michael Rutter. Ahead of him. Oh! Off the footrest in all sorts of trouble. Ian McPherson, number 13. And that has moved everyone up a place. Steve, what happened there?
Well, that was a big disappointment for Ian there, but he looked like he got a high side situation as he came out of Coffey's corner there, and that made him run out wide onto the grass. And there we see his teammate Terry Rymer, number 3, having a huge battle there with John Reynolds. But McPherson went out onto the grass, and those slick tyres don't grip on the grass. He had to straighten the bike up and diligently bring it back onto the track, and he's now way back down the pack and has all that work to do again.
Yamaha lead, Yamaha second. This now the battle between Llewellyn, number 33, John Reynolds, who also knows this circuit intimately, lives just up the road from Nottingham now. Reynolds going round the outside of Llewellyn. Is there a way round? That's a brave overtaking move, but Llewellyn, hugging the tight line, kept him out. Terry Rymer is right with them. This is tremendous action. Michael Rutter knows that if he finishes, as you said, you heard it from his own lips, if he finishes steadily, top 8 he's looking for in both races, provided the number 33 red Ducati, this man in the middle of the shot there, does not do anything spectacular, then Rutter can keep that number 3 spot in the championship till the end of the season. We shall see. Reynolds knows what he has to do. He's stalking the number 20, Matt Llewellyn. Is he going up the inside? Reynolds, there looks as though there's a way through. Oh, yes, there is at the Essence. This is the short circuit, coming out of what would be now Goddard's, if it was the Grand Prix circuit, down through the gearbox now, shall I say, up through the gearbox. Second, third, fourth, hitting 5th at this point, into Redgate, and Terry Rymer, number 3, riding well.
Terry's not had a particularly good season, apart from winning the 24-hour race at Boldor, but now we are on board with Michael Rutter through Craner Curves. Just in front of us is Terry Rymer on the Kawasaki, going through the left-hander there, one of the only fast left-handers on the circuit, down 2 gears, into the old hairpin, 3rd gear corner, squeezing the power on. You can hear that big Honda booming as they go under Starkey's Bridge. Back with the leaders now. Number 2, Chris Walker, is leading, but only just. Number 1 behind him, his teammate, Neil McKenzie. The man has denied Chris Walker so many wins this year, and it could easily be the same here today because McKenzie is stalking. He's closing in. They're coming round one of the fast. There's a yellow flag on the, and now there's a red flag. The race has been stopped. There is obviously an incident on the circuit, and there we see a rider laying on the side of the track. So this race is being stopped after 4 laps. Now we get a replay, and it's number 47, Scott Hannay, as he exits Coffey's corner at about 120 miles an hour. He's flicked off the bike, sliding across the grass. The bike is still continuing at some speed, but he comes to rest on the grass, and the race has been stopped after 4 laps. They will rejoin the grid.
Well, Hannay didn't appear to hit himself very hard. He tumbled over and over on the grass, but in the interest of safety, clearly the race has to be restarted. Those are the positions at the stoppage, so what we will now have is a restart and the points added, the times added, so we will have an aggregate score over the 2 races. But clearly, Chris Walker was leading. He will start again from pole position, and the balance of this race about to get underway. Away they go again towards Redgate. This means that Michael Rutter has got to consistently stay in the top 6 or 7 because it's now a 2-part race and he's going for it. The 2 Yamahas, though, out there 1st and 2nd. Rutter put the Honda alongside the Kawasaki of Terry Rymer, who also started very well, as indeed the number 20 Suzuki of Matt Llewellyn, who is in 3rd. Llewellyn, Rutter looking at the outside as they go into the old hairpin. Llewellyn, though, cutting through. It's Rutter in 4th. Terry Rymer, number 3, in 5th. Then it's John Reynolds, number 33, in 6th. And somebody always, there's a 4th. That's Sean Emmett. Sean Emmett is down. Fell very heavily at the old hairpin halfway around the 1st lap. So 3rd place in the championship is away now for Sean Emmett, way out of reach. It's between these 2 men, number 4, number 33, John Reynolds, who dives up the inside at Redgate. He's now behind Llewellyn, number 20. Why do you think Sean Emmett went down so early in the race?
Well, almost certainly, Barry, it'll be through cold tyres. In fact, Sean Emmett actually started this second part of the race from the pit lane. He had a problem with his first bike. He switched bikes, started from the pit lane, and most certainly the tyres would have been cold as he went into the old hairpin, a very tricky corner, and lost the plot. And as you say, it's put him out of any chance of taking 3rd place. It's now down to this man, number 33, that we're looking at. He needs to win the race. That's all he can do to give himself any chance of taking that 3rd spot. Michael Rutter, who is 2 places behind him, will see exactly what's going on, and I think just ride defensively here today. All he needs to do is to finish in the top 8.
The lone Suzuki in the race, Matt Llewellyn, going very well. Jim Moody, his teammate, is resting with injured ribs. Michael Rutter, number 4, on the Honda, a spectacular rider. Michael Rutter, the 2 Kawasaki's up the inside of Rymer, goes the number 13, McPherson. So Ian McPherson, having had that excursion onto the grass in the first part of this race, has now regained his composure. He's got his head down, his tail up, and he's charging hard now in 6th place. Reimer looking at the inside though. Rutter is in 5th. Llewellyn, number 20, is in 4th. Number 33, Reynolds, is in 3rd. There he is. And ahead of him, the 2 Yamahas. McKenzie, the 1997 champion, the double champion, is in 2nd place. And his young teammate, Chris Walker, former motocrosser, local man Walker, leads this race. He'll want to go out on a high, won't he, Steve? A win would be very nice.
He certainly will. He had pole position, but whether or not he has the stamina to keep this pace up, he's not at all well. He is leading the race, but look at that man behind him, and there we see the 3rd place man. Number 33, John Reynolds, has a big moment. The bike steps out, nearly flicks him off as he exits McLean's corner, a 2nd gear corner. Now there's Sean Emmett, the man that we saw fall off earlier, signing autographs, so he's obviously not injured. He'll just be keen to get out. Back on the circuit, we're on board now with number 4, Michael Rutter, as they come out of Goddard's corner over the start and finish. That was a 2nd gear corner. You hear the machine changing into 3rd, into 4th, into 5th now, holding on to 5th gear before it's heavily braking into Redgate corner, down 2 gears. And up the inside goes Ian McPherson as they come out of Redgate corner now, down through Craner Curves. McPherson over on the left-hand side, and he cuts back to the right. Now he'll shift into 5th as they go through the left-handed part of Craner Curves, down the hill. It's very steep at this point as they go back 2 gears into 3rd gear at this point, and now the circuit starts to climb. A very undulating circuit. Doesn't look like it from these pictures, but I can assure you it is. Back with the leaders once again. So now Neil McKenzie is even closer, right on the back wheel of number 2 there. The pole-sitting man of Chris Walker, up towards Coppice corner again. Another faller. Now we have a faller here, and that's Pete Jennings. Pete Jennings is down, and I think that's the old hairpin. He looks to be okay, but he's out of the race.
The battle at the front is very hot indeed. Reynolds has closed on the 2 Yamahas. It is Walker, but only by a gnat's whisker, because up the inside goes Neil McKenzie. In front then goes the reigning champion. Fantastic overtaking move on the inside. Walker's fighting back. Look how much his bike is moving by comparison. Looking backwards now from Neil McKenzie. Walker's behind in number 2. Then it's 33 Reynolds, flicking it down through the Craner Curves, hard on the brakes. Steve Parrish made reference to hard braking, and they really have to get the brakes off before they get into the turn for obvious reasons. McKenzie's Yamaha going away now, seemingly quicker than Walker's. Walker could easily fall into the clutches of John Reynolds. Reynolds is stalking him at McLean's, up the rise now. This circuit may look very flat on television, believe you me, it's extremely undulating. There are some severe drops and some quite steep climbs and some big bumps on 1 or 2 of the left-handers. But Reynolds tucking down as much as that injured shoulder will allow into the fairing of his Ducati. There's Walker number 2. Is he going to go in too hot? No, he's not. Turning into the right and left of the S's. A tail ender ahead of them. Llewellyn riding a good race. Still there in 4th. McKenzie, though, wants to go out on a high. The number 1 Yamaha rider justifiably carrying the number 1 plate, leading the race. He's sewn up the championship. Steve, an enviable position to be in going to the last round.
It most certainly is, but now once again we're back on board with Rutter as he looks to go down the inside of McPherson as they go into the S's. And he's gone through. No, he hasn't. McPherson goes back underneath him and allows Terry Reimer to come round. That was certainly a mistake by Michael Rutter. He went in there too fast, had to straighten it up and couldn't take the corner properly. Now we're back again with Chris Walker, who's in 2nd place, being stalked by number 33, John Reynolds. And this man, as I said, he's desperate to win the race, and you can see how hard he's trying. He's putting the power down, 160 horsepower. He's trying to squeeze down on the circuit at that point over the start and finish line. Really, really close as they go into this corner here, which is Redgate corner, taken in 3rd gear. And again, Chris Walker, that aggressive style of faller there, that's Ray Stringer. Ray Stringer's down at the S's, so he's running back. And again, an early bath for him. He's already got the championship, the Privateers Championship in the bag, but he's out. Back again, number 2 there, Chris Walker. We've seen this battle going on, and I think John Reynolds, and he does, he goes through as they get to Starkey's Bridge. John Reynolds goes through into 2nd. Whether or not he can catch number 1 is another matter. I doubt it, because at the moment Neil McKenzie is in a class of his own.
Reynolds ahead of Walker. Ahead of him, McKenzie. Reynolds, though, definitely knows what he's got to do. There's McKenzie. There's Reynolds. He's closing. A brilliant ride by Matt Llewellyn, hanging on in 4th place. Everybody's so close, and it just underlines how competitive. Oh, this is the Stringer incident. There's Ray Stringer on the right of your picture. Loses the front end. That's what I was saying about getting the brakes off before you turn in. Ray Stringer did not. That's the result, but happily, the rider okay. Stringer, I remind you, wrapped up the Privateer Championship at Cadwell Park. So no loss, just a bit of dented pride, I think, for Ray Stringer. The two Kawasaki's locked in a battle of their own. No team orders, but this man, Terry Reimer, who would have been the #1 rider at the team at the start of the season, and the man in his rookie year, Ian McPherson, riding number 13, leading him. There's McPherson, a brilliant showing he's made on the big green bike during 1997. But Reimer about to establish his rightful place in the team, shoots ahead of Ian McPherson, and away they go down the straight again. The difference in the stature of these men: Reimer, 6'2", tucks himself down. Ian McPherson, on the other hand, much shorter and has to straddle the big Kawasaki. From the two works bikes, though, to the privateer faller, Ray Stringer.
So, Ray, talk us through it.
My own fault, really. I tried getting up the inside of Dean and got past him okay, but I had to go in really tight, push the front, and down she went.
No injuries?
No, it's just wounded pride more than anything else.
Well, just as I say, a little bit upset at falling, but he has clinched the championship, Ray Stringer. One of the local boys would have expected to at least stay on two wheels. Never mind, another local boy, John Reynolds, number 33, right on the back wheel now of Neil McKenzie. Is he going to go past? It'll be great for Reynolds. Remember, he had 6 races out with that shoulder injury. It's still troubling him. Neil McKenzie broke his wrist. There's Steve Hislop. Steve Hislop on Ray Stringer's other Kawasaki, now riding as a privateer, having left the Ducati factory team mid-season. Hislop has had a very up-and-down 1997 year. When he's good, he's very, very good, and when he's bad, he's dreadful. There's Hislop, number 11, but he's going well, Steve, in this one.
He really is. He's another man that's come back from the Boldor 24-hour race having a great result. And Steve Hislop has had a torrid season. He doesn't like the rain conditions, and we've had a lot of wet races that haven't helped him. Terry Reimer now battling. He's looking like he's going to pass Chris Walker, number 2 there. So here we have a pretty major battle. These guys used to be teammates back in the Ducati days. Now one's riding a Kawasaki, and there we see, and a back marker in the way at this point. That hasn't helped Terry Reimer at all as they went under Starkey's Bridge. Terry Reimer lost some ground. We're on the last lap now. I'm sure he's desperate to pass Chris Walker. Chris Walker is certainly slowing, it seems so. Whether he has tyre problems, quite possibly. He has a much more aggressive style than his teammate, Neil McKenzie, who has that wonderful fluid style, doesn't wear the bike or the tyres out and keeps going. Back with the leader, Neil McKenzie takes the flag, another win. What an incredible man, and this is the battle for 3rd place. Now look at this, Terry Reimer goes in way too fast, nearly taking Chris Walker out, but remember, it is on aggregate. It won't matter because Chris Walker is going to take 3rd place.
Well, a lot of pushing and shoving there, but it didn't lose Walker 3rd overall. Reimer in 4th. McKenzie took the win, though. Reynolds fought very hard, and a solid ride from Michael Rutter.
Neil, that looked pretty hard work.
It was, yeah. I thought I'd made a break like the first race, and when I got past Chris I thought maybe that would be it, but I wasn't sure in the aggregate time looking at my pit board, but I know I could hear a Ducati behind me, and I figured it'd either be Sean Emmett or John Reynolds, and the noise wasn't going away, but I knew if I could just hang on to the end. I got a couple of back markers on the last lap and kind of stuffed them under John, so it worked out okay.
A very good 8th place in that race got Steve Hislop, the privateer. Result from Dean Ashton, Brett Sampson and Graham Ward, each of those 2 men on Kawasaki's. 402 points McKenzie has, with 1 race remaining from Walker. Rutter still in 3rd. Emmett, he's given up all hopes of that 3rd place. McPherson, Ryan.